Hello children, this is your Rohit sir, the biological science teacher. So in the recent videos we have observed so many different types of activities okay successfully, and I hope you have enjoyed well. And recently we have conducted the live program, so the live was very much successful. But one thing is that very few people have participated in that, but the live was excellent. So many of you have asked so many questions regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. So I request all of you to please encourage the other students and also motivate them to listen to these videos. Okay. And one more important thing, you have to maintain a notebook, special notebook for this. As I am explaining everything, you have to note it down. Then it will be useful for your further classes. Okay. So as we have discussed about different types of activities in the previous classes, now it is time to discuss about some upcoming topics in the same lesson. Now let us start our discussion. Now today we are going to discuss about the important thing that is called chlorophyll and photosynthesis. Now what is the meaning of chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green structure which gives green color to the plant. As you can see that all plants are green in color. See the green color, that is because of this chlorophyll. And if there will be chlorophyll and there will be photosynthesis. No chlorophyll is nothing but no photosynthesis. Okay. See, as you can see, photosynthesis. Ingenhousz wanted to find more about the photosynthesis and he carried out several experiments, and he supposed only green plant parts can carry out the photosynthesis. As you can see here, plants have different types of structures, branches and roots and leaves and fruits. No other part will able to perform photosynthesis, but the green parts do. Okay, what are the green parts? Green leaves and the tender green stems are able to do the photosynthesis because they have a special structure called chlorophyll in it. Then what about the plants having colored leaves? As you can see, so many plants they have colored leaves, pink color and red color and different types of other leaves. Do they also perform photosynthesis? How is that new leaves which are looks dark red in color? As you can see, some newly forming leaves. Okay, the tender leaves, as you can observe on the top of the stem. If you see a mango tree, you can observe some reddish leaves that are coming, newly born leaves. What about them? Are they doing the photosynthesis or not? Now here, do plants having the reddish yellowish green leaves also carry out photosynthesis? Then what made plants carry out photosynthesis while even green colored animals do not? See, now what is this paragraph indicates? Green color animals just like parrot and some other organisms, they also have green in their body. And here plants also have green in their body. Why plants are performing photosynthesis? Why the green parrots are not performing photosynthesis? So these questions remained challenges for the scientists for so many years. So they have tried to find out. Somebody said that green color is useful for the production of the food material, but why the parrots are not able to produce the food? Okay, then later after so many inventions, scientists established a conclusion. Now, establishment of Ingenhousz proposition came after several experiments till the mid 20th century, when scientists could also locate the site of photosynthesis. So in the mid century, in the middle of the 20th century, they located the exact site of photosynthesis, and even they have separated it. What is the meaning of isolate? Isolate is nothing but separating. Now around these decades after Ingenhousz proposition, scientists could only isolate the green substances to observe its nature and to find whether the photosynthesis could be carried out with it. Now what does these lines are indicating? Not only they have observed the location, they have also separated the green color substance out of the leaves. Okay, first of all, in the mid 19th centuries, they have located the area where the photosynthesis is happening, and then later they have successfully separated the green color substance from the leaves. Now this had become possible in the 1817 due to the work of two scientists. Who are they? Pelletier and Cavendish. These Pelletier and Cavendish are two scientists. They have obtained the green color structure from the extract of green colored leaves. They have given the name. So who given the name? Every time we are saying chlorophyll, chlorophyll, Pelletier and Cavendish are the two scientists. They have given the name called chlorophyll. What is the meaning of this chlorophyll? Green leaf. In some language, green leaf is nothing but chlorophyll. So that's why they have given the name called chlorophyll. Okay. Now it was found that pigments in addition to the chlorophyll, carotenoids and phycobilins could also aid in the process of photosynthesis. See, so many times we have observed only chlorophyll word, but not only chlorophyll is performing photosynthesis, there are some carotenoids. Carotenoids is nothing but sometimes you have seen the carrots. In the carrots you can see some orange colored structure. This colored structure is called carotene. Because of the carotene they look orange in color. And some phycobilins. These phycobilins are also some colored structures. They are also useful for the production of photosynthesis. Okay, now what is happening here? Now it could also aid in the process of photosynthesis by passing the light energy of sunlight trapped by them to the chlorophyll. Now actually what will happen when any light falls on the chlorophyll, this light will be converted into food material. Okay. Now where does the photosynthesis takes place? What is the exact location of photosynthesis? Where is the chlorophyll and other pigments present in the plant? Can you name it? Yeah, in leaves. Inside the plant there is a special structure called leaf. Inside the leaf the green pigments will be available. Now do you think the new reddish leaves of plants also carry out photosynthesis? What could be the reason for their color? So why am I reading all these things and why am I giving answers to you? Because it is very much important and very much useful for your future examination. Inside the examination, he will give you these type of questions for 1 mark or 2 mark. So if you don't know the answer for this question, you are unable to find the answer for this. So that's why I am explaining everything to you. So you have to pay attention. Now try to give the answer. Do you think the new reddish leaves of plants also carry out photosynthesis? Then the answer will be yes. Yes, the newly formed leaves also perform photosynthesis. Now what could be the reason for their color? See, chlorophyll is responsible for the formation of green color. Just like xanthophyll is a structure which is useful for the production of yellow in the leaves. So just like that, so many other color producing structures are there and some of them will produce this reddish color also. Okay, phycoerythrins. These phycoerythrins are the structures which will give you reddish color in the leaves. Okay. Now here what is phycoerythrin? What are all these things phycobilins? We will be discussing in the later classes. But the answer for this question is newly formed leaves. Yes, they will prepare the photosynthesis. They will perform the photosynthesis. They have a special structure in their cells because of they are look like reddish in color. Okay. Now the exact location of photosynthesis and photosynthesis part containing chlorophyll was not known till another 6 months of Pelletier and Cavendish's discovery. Now it was believed that it was spreading like all the cells in the green plant parts, but in 1883 Julius von Sachs observed that chlorophyll in the plant is not spread throughout the entire cell. So what does these lines are indicating us? Before the discovery of this chlorophyll, everyone believed that these chlorophyll is circulating throughout the leaf just like the blood is circulating all of our body. Okay. So when we cut the body, the blood uses to leak out. Just like that when you crush the leaf, the green color structure is coming out. So because of these assumptions, they believed that the green color structure is all circulating all over the body, but that was wrong. It was proven by Julius von Sachs. What he said, that he observed that chlorophyll in the plant is not spread through the entire cell, is it rather found in the organelle within the cell. Such organelle are named as chloroplast. So in the ninth class we have discussed that cell is a basic unit of any living organism, but this cell is made up of cell organelles. This cell is made up of so many cell organelles. So inside the cell organelles, a special structure called chloroplast is available. Inside the chloroplast, a liquid is available that is called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. So you should be very careful. Cell is a big structure. Inside the cell organelles are there. Such cell organelle is called chloroplast. So many cell organelles are there. Among so many cell organelles, chloroplast is also one type of cell organelle. Inside this chloroplast, a special liquid is available that is called chlorophyll. This chlorophyll is responsible for the greenish color. Okay, I hope everyone have understood. Right. Now here, these organelles were named as chloroplast and they are present in large numbers in the cells, around 40 to 100 parts, like stomatal guard cells. Now what is the meaning of stomatal guard cells? In the future we will discuss about these stomatal guard cells. Okay. Now here you have studied about the chloroplast in the ninth class. Now let us observe the figure of the transfer section of leaf showing the chloroplast in palisade and spongy parenchyma. Okay. Now let us observe the internal structure of the leaf. Now here when you take the leaf, actually if you see like this you cannot understand this thing. Now what does this thing, if you take the leaf like this, if you take a blade and if you make a section, small thin sections from this, and you separate this, then you can see the leaf like this. Okay, then you can see the leaf like this. Now this is the midrib. Okay, so this structure. Now if you keep this under microscope, then you can look the structure like this. Understood? I hope so many of you have understood well. If you do not understand, then you can comment below this video and I will clarify your doubts again in the next upcoming video. Now when you cut the leaf in a transverse way, and if you keep this leaf under the microscope, then you can see this type of structures. Okay, now this is cuticle. This is the upper epidermis. Epidermis. Epi means outer, dermis means skin. So epi means outer, dermis means skin. So this is the outer skin like structure. This is called epidermis. Now this is palisade parenchyma. These palisade parenchyma is pillar like structures. That's why the upper layer of the leaf is very strong. You know, they are look like a pillar. So the blind believe that if you see this type of cells, that is palisade parenchyma, and here this is xylem and this one is phloem. This is spongy parenchyma. You see, you can see there is no particular structure is available. They are randomly arranged, so they look like sponge. That's why this that is spongy parenchyma. You know, according to their name, this is also very smooth. Now, as you can see here, there are so many gaps in this. You know, spongy parenchyma, but here the palisade parenchyma is very tightly packed. Okay, that's why they are giving the strength, but downside this spongy parenchyma does not have any, you know, stiffness. They have some holes in it, they have some gaps in it. Now here this is called an air space, and here you can see the stomatal guard cells. I think in the 8th class and the ninth class you have seen the stomata like this. Two bean shaped cells are available here, and they are surrounded by some other cells like this. And you have observed that this is the, you know, cell. You know, you have observed that this is the stomata. See, now you can observe the stomata here. Okay, yeah. Now as you can see here, this is the stomata, and these two are guard cells. So in the 8th class you have observed that two bean shaped cells, and in the center you can see these two are guard cells, and these are the guard cells, and this is the opening, and this is the lower epidermis, and this one is the cuticles, small thin layer. I hope everyone have understood well. Now let us move to the next thing. What makes the chloroplast appear completely different from other cells? See here, chloroplasts have some special organelles called chlorophyll. They helpful in performing the photosynthesis. That's why they are different. And also, without the cell chloroplast, we are unable to imagine the earth also. Okay. Now, do you know? If a cell is broken up, the chloroplast is broken into pieces, so it becomes very difficult task to isolate them to study into the different steps of photosynthesis. It was not until 1959. Now, what are these lines are saying? So, in the beginning, they successfully separated the leaf, and they have successful in separating the cells of the plant also, leaf also. But when they try to open the chloroplast, they are facing some problems. They are unable to cut and open it, because when you cut the leaf, the cells are safe, but when you open the cell, then all these chloroplasts are destroying. So it has become very hard task to open or to observe this chloroplast without destroying these cells. But in the 1954, Daniel I. Arnon came into the action. He found a technique, and he separated successfully the chloroplast out of the cell, and he has dissected it. That is nothing but he cut into two pieces, and then he has observed the chloroplast, and he has given this structure. Now this is the structure of the chloroplast. Now as I have said that I will give you the homework in the you know in the middle of the class. Now I am giving the homework to you. Now what is your homework? You have to just see this picture and try to draw the structure of the chloroplast. So if you have any doubts regarding, or if you have any difficulties regarding the drawings, then I will conduct a special session for you, so that drawing will be easy for you. Okay, you don't worry, just you sit and relax, and you have to watch the videos, then you can gain the knowledge. We will give you the instructions, but you have to follow it. Right, now what you have to do, you have to draw this chloroplast structure. Now let me explain. See, the Daniel I. Arnon has separated successfully, and he has dissected it. Now actually this chloroplast look like an oval or circular or any other shape, and here there are three layers. This is the first outer layer, and this is the second inner layer, or middle layer, and this is the third layer. Okay, now here this inner layer is filled with stroma. Stroma is a liquid like structure. Okay, and inside the thing you can see there are some layer like structures. These layers are called stroma thylakoids. Thylakoids are nothing but layer like structures. When these layer like structures are forming another layer like structure, these are called granum. See, the single thing is called thylakoid. If these single things are arranged in the layer, then that is called granum. And inside this you can see the lipid globules, and also you can see the starch granules, and there are some other structure also available inside this chloroplast. Now let us read out these lines. It has been found that the chloroplast is a membranous structure. Membranous structures are nothing but it is formed in the layers. Okay, it is formed in the layers. That's why they are said to be as the membranous structures. Okay, so here it is membranous structure. It is consisting of three membranes. As I have said, the outer membrane, middle membrane, and the third membrane is the stroma thylakoid. And it is formed that stalks. It is found in the groups. This group is called grana or granum. Now it is believed that to be the site of trapping the solar energy. Actually, from the fourth or fifth class, we have observed that sunlight will fall on the leaf. Sunlight will fall on the leaf. Now, some location should be there. Someone should receive the sunlight. Here, these granums are the areas where the sunlight will be received. And the intermediately fluid filled portion is called stroma. See, the middle portion, this is called stroma. It is filled with some liquids. It is believed to be the responsible some enzymatic reactions. Some reactions will happen inside this liquid. Okay, especially dark reaction. See here, the photosynthesis is divided into two phases. The first one is called a light phase and the second one is called a dark phase. So light phase will be started in the granum and the dark phase will continue in the stroma or this liquid. Now here these enzymatic reactions will happen inside the stroma liquid-like structure, which will help you in the production of glucose molecule. That's why you can see starch here. Whether it is starch or whether it is glucose or whether it is sugar, all are similar, but they are in different forms. Understood? Right. So here this is the site of enzymatic reactions leading to the synthesis of glucose, which in turn join together to form the starch. Now what is happening? Light reaction will happen here and the dark reaction will happen in this liquid, and they, later after these enzyme reactions some small proteins, some small carbohydrates will be produced here, and all carbohydrates will join together to form a very big starch like structure. Thus, the substances found in the chloroplast which capture the sunlight are called photosynthetic pigments. Pigment means color. What is the meaning of pigment? Pigment is nothing but color. Okay. Now here, why we are calling them as photosynthetic pigments? Because they are able to grab the light. So that's why they are called as photosynthetic pigments. Now there are several types of photosynthetic pigments involved in this process to produce the organic molecules like glucose in plants. Okay, not only a green color structure is available, so many different types of molecules are also available to produce the glucose inside it. Now chlorophyll is such a pigment which contain an atom of magnesium. It's very important. Now which atom is present inside chlorophyll? Magnesium. This is similar to the heme of hemoglobin. Now inside the hemoglobin, what is the meaning of hemoglobin? Let me say blood. Now what is the color of the blood? The blood is red in color. Why it is red in color? Because of hemoglobin. Why hemoglobin is giving red color? Because it have a special metal called iron. Because of iron only the blood is in red color. Now because of iron our blood is in red color. Because of magnesium the leaf or the chlorophyll is green in color. Now here the chlorophyll, there are two types. Two major kinds of chlorophyll are associated with thylakoid membranes, that is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Chlorophyll A is blue green in color, chlorophyll B is yellow green in color. Around 250 to 400 pigment molecules are present inside the light harvesting complex or photosynthetic unit in each thylakoid. That is nothing but in each thylakoid nearly 250 to 400 light producing or light harvesting substances are here. What is the meaning of light harvesting? Harvesting the light and producing the starch. So here some chemicals are harvesting the light and producing the food material. That's why they are said to be as light harvesting complexes. Now during photosynthesis several events occurs in the chloroplast. Some of them are: point number one, conversion of light energy to chemical energy. During the process of photosynthesis the light energy will be converted into chemical energy. Now in the step number two, here the splitting of water molecule, that is nothing but the water molecule H2O will be divided into hydrogen, that is nothing but H plus, and hydroxyl ion, that is nothing but OH minus. Okay, H2O will be divided into H plus and OH minus, that is nothing but splitting of water molecule. Next here the reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates will be happen. This is the final stage where the carbohydrates will be produced. Now light is required to initiate several events, while several may continue even in the absence of the light. So that would mean that once the light energy has been captured and it can help the reaction to continue even in the dark. Now what does these lines are indicating? These lines are saying that for the beginning of the photosynthesis light is required. Once the light has started the action, then for upcoming stages light is not required. Understood? So that's why this stage has divided into two stages, first one and the second one. First one require the light, that's why it is called a light phase. Second one does not require the light, that's why it is called a dark phase or light independent phase. Okay, now here mechanism of photosynthesis. Now as we have discussed that photosynthesis mechanism is divided into two. This is a very important and a long answer question, better you pay attention. Now what is light independent reaction? Now what is the meaning of light dependent reaction? Light dependent reaction is nothing but it requires the light. Okay, and it is also called as photochemical phase. Why they are saying as photochemical phase? Because photo is nothing but light. Here light is converted into chemicals, that's why it is called as photochemical phase. Now here it is happening in a very quick successions, that is nothing but very quick parts it is converting or it is happening. Now here there are two phases inside the photosynthesis. First one is light phase and second one is dark phase, and inside the light phase also there are three steps. What is the step number one? The chlorophyll on exposure to the light energy becomes activated and by absorbing the photons, and it will be charged up. Now what is happening here? Imagine that this is the chloroplast. Light falls on this chloroplast and the step number one it was activated. Now the step number two, here the water molecule will be split into hydrogen and hydroxyl ion. Now what is the step number two? Inside the water will be turned into H plus ion and OH minus ion, that is nothing but hydroxyl ion. Now here this reaction is also known as photolysis. Why we are saying it as photolysis? Because here water molecule is dividing. Lysis means to divide or to split or to destroy. Now here lysis is nothing but dividing. Here water molecule is dividing into H plus and OH minus. So here they are dividing, that's why it is called lysis. Why it is called as photolysis? Because they are divided because of light action. So light is dividing the water molecules into two, that's why it is called as photolysis. Now this was discovered by Robert Hill, that's why this reaction is called as Hill's reaction. This reaction is called Hill's reaction. In the future, in the intermediate, if you go to the BPC, in the botany, you will be definitely discuss about this thing very clearly. Now here step number 3, the highly reactive H plus and OH minus ions, they undergo some quick changes as described below. What is happening with H plus and what is happening with OH minus will be discussed here. Now OH minus ions through a series of steps they produce the water and oxygen. The water may be used inside the plant and the oxygen will be usually released into the atmosphere. Now what will happen to the H plus? H plus will be converted into hydrogen and also it will be converted into water. So hydrogen is a gas, it will be gone out. Okay. Now OH minus through a series of steps produce water and oxygen. Water may be used inside the plant and oxygen is usually released out in the atmosphere. Now let us discuss about the OH minus. What is the next step of OH minus? OH minus will be converted into water and also oxygen. As the oxygen is the gas, very light in weight, that's why it is going out of the plant, and the water is very heavy and it will be used up by the plants, and excess amount of the water will be lost through the plants by a process called transpiration. Now OH minus story is completed. Now H plus ions undergo some changes in the dark reaction. Now they will go to the dark reaction. They will convert it into some changes. Now here what is happening? H plus ions go immediately picked up by a special compound called NADP. Now here NADP is a structure. This NADP will pick up this hydrogen ion and they will be converted into NADPH. What is the meaning of NADPH? Nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide phosphate. Now here ADP and a phosphate trap the energy from the ATP, and ATP and NADPH are formed at the end of light reaction, and these are ATP, NADPH, and these are called assimilatory powers. Now not only here NADPH is produced, another element called ATP is also produced. Now here these NADPH and ATP both are called as assimilatory powers. So at the end of light reaction, we have two substances that is called NADPH and ATP, and they will go to the next stage called dark reaction. Now this second stage is also called as dark reaction. Why it is called as dark reaction? It is not called as dark reaction because it is happening in the evening time or night time. So many have a blind belief. So many are believing that is wrong, because they are saying that all the dark reaction will happen inside the dark only. That is not correct. Dark reaction may also happen during the daytime. So it is actually called as light independent reaction. Why it is called as light independent reaction? Because it does not require the light. Now the second thing, it is also called as biosynthetic phase. Why biosynthetic phase? Because some biosynthesis will also happen inside this phase. Sometimes in the examination he will not ask you to write this light phase or dark phase. Simply he will ask you to write the light independent phase or biosynthetic phase. Okay. Now this reaction does not require the presence of light, and existence of phase may extend after daytime, and it may occur in some plants and sometimes even in the dark also. This is also called as dark reaction. But the term does not reaction but the term dark reaction or light independent reaction does not mean that they occur when it is dark at the night. It only means that this reaction does not depend on light. So you should remember, this reaction does not depend on the light. In the dark phase, the hydrogen of the NADPH is used to combine with carbon dioxide by utilizing ATP energy to produce glucose. Now what is happening here? Already we have a special compound called NADPH. In the dark phase, this NADPH, the hydrogen will be combined with carbon dioxide to produce glucose. Actually in the beginning a special compound is available that is called RUBP. RUBP is nothing but ribulose 1,5 biphosphate. This ribulose 1,5 biphosphate is a compound which is accepting the carbon dioxide in the process, and finally glucose will be converted into starch. Now as it is very long structure, it's a very large thing, it is very hard to understand, and this structure will be explained very clearly in your intermediate examination in the upcoming classes. Now here what you have to see, that NADPH will go under some changes, and here the carbon dioxide will be reacted with RUBP, a special compound called ribulose biphosphate, and after some series of reactions glucose will be produced. That's it. Now plants are capable of surviving under a range of situations, from very hot to dry and healthy lighted conditions to wet and humid and dimly lighted ones. The requirement of light and other factors varies from one plant to another plant. See, some plants are living in the desert areas, and some plants are living in the you know cool areas, Arctic and Antarctic regions. Every areas and different locations and different situations, plants require different types of light requirements. According to their light conditions, they have developed their own structures. And this is all about today's topic. And in this topic we have discussed about the light phase and the dark phase, and also the relation between light and dark, and the internal structure of the chloroplast and internal structure of the leaf. I hope you have enjoyed this class, and I request all of you to please submit your homework, okay, to my personal number. And also you should be very active, and you should be very careful. Don't unnecessarily go outside. Take necessary safety precautions, follow the rules and regulations, and also what you have to do, you have to motivate other friends. Okay, so many of you are not watching all the classes regularly, so you guide them, you tell them, and you motivate them, because after all they are your friends. You have to educate them. Okay, so this is all about today's video. Tomorrow we will discuss about different types of modes of nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition is complete, and tomorrow we'll discuss tomorrow, or in the next video we are going to discuss about different types of other modes of nutrition. So this is all about today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.